person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He do they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun yá wa sí.
I can read all those tiny texts on these screens.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́.
Kọlu in America. Atiku in America too.
Politico.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism.
Who is Miss Bola A. Tinubu? We will find out in another 24 hours.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Yes. Thank you so much. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them Mayegun today.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Read the caption of the broadcast.
YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Read the description as well.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Follow it up with liking the video, sharing it.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí pa.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń
Both Atiku and Obi have also filed their own appeal against the tribunal judgment. We are starting soon.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé.
Thank you. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun, and this is live. If you have, like I advised, taken your time to read the caption, the description, and every other thing that will likely pop up tonight, that is just the first stage. You should have also paid your offering, which is like the broadcast. Because once you settle in, Baba, all of those will become like, no, I'm here now. I'm into it now. Yeah? Right. So, Kolu in America, where he was billed to deliver a speech, he did deliver a speech. But you see other things that they listed. He will meet this, this one is waiting, that one is waiting. all of those things have come down, or they have come back to be fabu, iro. But the one that I am yet to actually pick on, which is so kind of more ridiculous and shocking, is that of Joe Biden, that sent one secretary from the embassy in Nigeria to invite Kolu to come to America, and they publicized it. How Joe Biden avoided him. Whatever meeting they said he was going to have with Joe Biden at the United Nations, that didn't happen. And if it happened, that we are yet to see, well, maybe. But the one thing I have confirmed is that Joe Biden has left New York, where all of these guys were meeting. He's left New York after delivering his own speech and is returned back to Washington. Kolu is still in New York. Maybe they would have to arrange a one-on-one with Biden inside the White House. Maybe. But at the United Nations, it can't be like, say, everybody, they avoid Kolu. I'm not making this up. Kolu delivered a speech to almost or nearly empty room. Make I show you something. And this is not like mocking. It's just to let you know that the world knows. And a lot of you are going to come to the reality that Nigeria is going to be known as a narco state. Nigeria is going to take the heat of what Tinubu represents. But to some, that is too early. No, it's not too early. It is already happening. Whenever you address the General Assembly of the United Nations, let me tell you how they normally do it, okay? Each president or each leader of any country that is billed to speak, including the President of America, they always have the time they will speak. And there are those who will be interested in listening to them, okay? Because of what that speech will mean to them on different fronts. So a lot of countries will attend when the President of America is speaking. When the Prime Minister, being a Premier of China, is speaking, you will see a lot of countries like they want to attend and their representatives. When you see a country like Nigeria addressing the United Nations General Assembly, you also see a lot of countries also there. But you may not see the major countries like, US, except for their reps. But the all will tell you, the attendance will tell you, right, the caliber of person addressing them. There are countries that will boycott the General Assembly meeting because of a particular leader from a particular country that will be addressing the assembly. They will say no, they won't sit down there and listen to him or her. For those who kind of follow the global politics that way, okay? Now, whenever they're having their General Assembly meeting, this is what it looks like. Do you understand? See, when the President of America, during the time of Donald Trump, for example, right? So you have to have a full house, responsible country or reasonable, you know what I mean? Now, Kolu, who also addressed the General Assembly yesterday with the prepared speech, one of them was where instead of saying Bala Blue, Bulaba, Blue, Kolu was talking about northern Nigeria is honored with crushing. What did they call that one again? Land crushing or anyway. Now this was Kolu addressing the assembly, but he wasn't addressing an assembly that looks like this. Kolu was addressing these people. Now, it's not actually about mocking or anything. Now, this is reality, okay? So what does it tell you? Somebody where they did press conference in Nigeria that was going to meet all the world leaders. See the world leaders, so. The people is addressing the greatest speech that some of these weirdos are trying to amplify in Nigeria right now. This is just a sign that nobody will have anything to really do with this guy in public. But it may not mean much to you right now, okay? Now them, they look for validation, Abi. Now your leaders, they look for validation. So before he left Nigeria with over 90 people, now they are in America. The business of them being in America was to meet with business moguls and all of them. So they announced in Nigeria, Kolu is going to meet the CEO of General Motors in America. Kolu is going to meet the CEO of Apple. Kolu is going to meet the World Bank this. Kolu is going to meet the world leaders. Who are the world leaders? Who do you think he was meeting? Like I said, this may not mean much to you, but they are the signs of exactly what the world sees you as, okay? Now, they can pay a lot of people because that's what they do, okay? That's why they have thousands of media aides who continually to glorify nonsense that adds no value, no single value to all of you. And I will never stop telling you. By the way, just for the record, okay, we are going to start from that New York before we go to the Chicago courts, where they have now ordered the Chicago State University to release every record of Miss Bola A. Tinubu. So a lot of people who have been asking whether Tinubu na transgender, Tinubu na change of whatever. Some are saying that he forged, he used, he stole somebody's identity. And so many names, so many things, right? All of that answer should start coming out from next week. From tomorrow. But we are going there. We'll go to United Nations first. Sorry if it's boring. He's reading it. So don't worry, just listen, okay?
To take the floor.
Mr. President, Head of State and Government, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the people of Nigeria, I congratulate you on your well-deserved election as the President of this session of the United Nations General Assembly. We commend your predecessor, His Excellency Chaba Korochi, for his able stewardship of the Assembly also. We also commend His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for his work seeking to forge solutions to humanity's common challenges. This is my first address before the General Assembly. Permit me to say a few words on behalf of Nigeria, my country, on behalf of Africa, my continent, regarding this year's theme. Many proclamations have been made, yet our troubles remain close at hand. Failures in good governance have hindered Africa, but broken promises, unfair treatment, and outright exploitation from abroad have also exerted a heavy toll on our ability to progress. Given this long history, if this year's theme is to mean anything at all, it must mean something special and particular to Africa. In the aftermath of the Second World War, nations gathered in an attempt to rebuild their war-torn societies. A new global system was born. And this great body, the United Nations, was established as a symbol and protector of the aspiration and the finest ideas of humankind. Nations saw that it was in their own interest to help others exceed the rubbles and wasteland of war. Reliable and significant assistance allowed countries emaciated by war to grow into a strong and productive society. The period was a high water mark for trust in global institutions and the belief that humanity had learned the necessary lessons to move forward in global solidarity and harmony. Today, for several decades, Africa has been asking for the same level of political commitment and devotion of resource that described the Marshall Plan. We realize that underlying conditions and causes of economic challenges facing today's Africa are significantly different from those of post-war Europe. We are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership. We seek enhanced international cooperation with African nations to achieve the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals. As I lament death at home, I also lament the grave loss of life in Morocco and Libya. The Nigerian people are with you. Please note that. African nations will fight climate change, but must do so on fair and just terms. To achieve the needed popular consensus, this campaign must accord with overall economic efforts. In Nigeria, we shall build political consensus by highlighting remedial actions which also promote economic good. Projects such as Green Wall to stop desert encroachment, halting the destruction of our forests by mass production and distribution of gas burning stoves, and providing employment in local water management and irrigation projects are examples of efforts that equally advance both economic and climate change objectives. Continental efforts regarding climate change will register important victories if established economies were more forthcoming with public and private sector investment for Africa's preferred initiatives. Again, this will go.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
We will work.
These were the people that Kalu was addressing. Thanks for, what do you call it? Thanks for the camera phone that recorded what he said so that the rest of you can actually hear that here, even though you don't probably, you're not proud, right? Now, let's stay in that America, okay? Because something happened there yesterday. You remember that Atiku's case, where Atiku is asking the court in America to ask the university that Tinubu listed as his own education qualification and document, that inside that document, Tinubu said he was born in 1954. Okay? That is the INEC form. The school certificate is submitted. Said he was born in 1952. So when they were digging more and more, they now discovered that, in fact, to find out who this Tinubu is, Atiku using the work of David Hundeyin, decided to approach the school that Tinubu submitted the data. Tinubu this time around didn't submit primary school, secondary school, just Chicago State University with a forged certificate. So when Atiku started digging, they now discovered that it is true. Tinubu attended Richard Daly College. Then from there to Chicago State University. So all the details show that one female American, Bola A. Tinubu, attended these schools. That is even more than falsification of age or whatever, which is perjury in Nigeria. The Chicago State University now said, we can't give you this information except Tinubu approves it. What did Tinubu do? He hired lawyers to stop the university from giving Atiku the details, so that then make it more suspicious. Like, what are you hiding? So that became a real thing. Not even for those who want to be shocked, who are shocked when they saw the manuscript of Bola A. Tinubu, female, American. This one will be American, or a lie that he is not an American, but he is. So all of these lies were what they want to unravel. And Tinubu hired lawyers to stop them from making those public. And like I said, it now attracted a lot of people. When David exposed this crime of Tinubu for forgery and perjury, he wanted to establish that he's committed a crime, right, against the Constitution of Nigeria, which should see him sent to jail. But the likes of Atiku and the rest of them, it wasn't useful for them at the time. It was like it's a smear, it is a defamation or whatever. So they didn't show interest until they discovered the pile load of document information that David was able to lay his hands on and release to all of us, just like that. So Atiku now hired lawyers, investigators, to help dig out more, so that he could use that at the court, Supreme Court in Nigeria. So back and forth, yeah. The judge who was kind of listening to the case was surprised that the documents they presented to him, okay, purportedly from the same university, that he himself could tell this is fake. This is, I mean, he couldn't tell which is fake, but he could tell that they were not the same. And in that state of shock, that justice now said, are we talking about the same person? They say, yeah, now the same person, and the same person, they bear all these things, So now, if Tinubu bought Coca-Cola, whether na boy or girl bought the Coca-Cola, everything that has Tinubu on it, receipts to anything and everything, would have to be turned over to Atiku. So Atiku would have to look into whatever he wanted or is looking for and take to Supreme Court. Part of what the APC, Egbekegbe, are currently telling themselves is that the school, the Chicago State University, cannot release what they don't have. So that what the judge said was that Chicago State University should release every document that is in their possession. So if they say this one is not in our possession, that one we don't have that, we don't have this. So the same Chicago State University that has been dragged in this scandal for a while, who we felt like have been accomplice in some of these Oluwole universities and schools and colleges abroad that some of these politicians always go to buy whatever they want to buy. They are fitting into Nigerian narrative because nobody would investigate. And if you have to, they just didn't expect it to bring out this much attention. So according to APC, there is nothing to celebrate. Because according to the judgment is that the Chicago University should release since Atiku did not list what he is looking for. Do you see how law works sometimes, They say since Atiku did not say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100 pieces of this or 200 pieces of this evidence is what I want them to release, So the university can come out and release the same information, the same document that we all have with the female Tinubu, Miss Bola Tinubu. And they will tell you, well, that's all we have. And that's the end of it. Solomon Grandi, born on Monday, named on Tuesday, and died on Sunday. Anyway, you shall get what I mean. So at the end of the day, it is probably not going to be useful. But me, I want to believe that even if Chicago State University will not release any real incriminating information or document about Tinubu, I would rather wait for that of 2,500 documents every month. That one go serve. They said they will be releasing, they will be releasing 2,500 documents of Tinubu. So they will be releasing 500 every month. 500 this month, 500 next month. So the next 5 months from October, I believe say we shall go see something. And it is not because it's going to make any difference in Nigeria. Don't bank on it. So I'm not one of you. I know be one of you where they expect say something go change anything. No. You are already in this boat. Are you with me? You are already in this boat. Wherever it's taking you, it is not going to be resolved inside those courts, okay? It's not going to be resolved by protest. Peaceful protest. Let us protest for our right. Do you understand? You are already in it. So I am not one of those who are thinking that whatever they get in America, whatever this or that will make any difference in Nigeria to call you. No. But I want to be one of those that will tell my children who call you is genuinely an alien that a lot of people are wondering, who be this person? Who be this guy? Who be in mama? Who be in papa? When was he born? Where was he from? And the rest of all those unanswered there. So we may begin to kind of have something that we can now say, okay, facts for fact. My children, want to all of you sit down here. I want to tell you a story. And I'll tell them the story. You see, this one a thief. This one a drug dealer. This one a money launderer. This one a human trafficker. This one a ritualist. This one a this. This one a that. So that when my children see their faces, in case one of these days, they now put all the faces of these criminals on your currency, like they did to the past criminals. The ones they call your heroes pass, so your criminals pass, Abi. So one of these days, they will put all these criminals on the faces of your national this or that, your building, your books, and all of, they will write books about them to deceive the next generation that they mortgage their future. So when information like this are available, right, 100% to me, it's not because it's going to make any difference or change anything in Nigeria. Nigeria is done for. When everybody wakes together from their slumber, they will take it back or take it down, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, they have now given them 48 hours to release Tinubu's record from the Chicago State University. And my instinct is telling me that it is just going to be like a shit show. I'm not banking on any new information. I wish they could just show us who is Miss Bola Tinubu. If they could release the information of Miss Bola Tinubu, Bola Kafaru Tinubu, Adekunle Tinubu, or whatever. So that would mean we can put that in our own diary and say, well, my son, my daughter, Siamo, na criminal. Here you get. Don't ever, join those who praise their own oppressors. This one a criminal. Anyway, since Atiku was expecting what the update will be from the Chicago State University, is already approached the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Now, we are going to go to that Supreme Court of Nigeria, but there is a message. Call this a breaking message. Do you know that just like Bokwari decided to work with some African countries in a way that they shared a fake intel that declared Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist, and that anywhere they see him on the continent is only there to meet with other terrorists in those areas. And Kenya took the bait. And Nigeria, whatever deal Nigeria did with Kenya for them to commit that international crime, by abducting a British national. They abducted him, and without taking him to the front of any judge or what have you, like Kenya has no law. Let me tell you that story again. When Bokwari was going to sell the idea of Kenya kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu for them, they said Nnamdi Kanu is coming to Kenya to come and meet the El Shabaab. El Shabaab is like the Boko Haram of Kenya. Do you understand? Right? Meanwhile, it is a wrong intel that they were using to catch him and box him back to Nigeria and use him as a trophy. Kenya, for the sake of their own national security, right? They swoop on someone who entered your country legally, who actually went to your own general hospital, government hospital in Kenya for medical checkup. It wasn't hiding. It was meant to meet somebody at the same time, at the same, what's that guy's name? I wanted to say Keyamo. No, it's not Keyamo Airport. Uhuru Kenyatta or something airport. In Kenya, he was meeting with somebody in the open, in the public space, not terrorists, not nothing. And they swooped on him. He was gentle enough to say, well, you know what? I'll come with you. They took him, and for 3 days, they chained him to the ground. That is what Nnamdi Kanu told his lawyer, right? They chained him to the ground, and they were asking him questions about his meeting with El Shabaab. And it didn't take them long to know that, I mean, this guy has no business with any terrorists in this country. And they told him, they said, you know what? It was Nigeria that approached us. Nigeria said, you are coming here to come and plan terrorist attack. But we have discovered that after figuring out exactly who you are, we have discovered that it was a total wrong intel. Okay, fine. If it's a wrong intel, then let me go. I've not done anything wrong. No, we can't. We can't. Nigeria have already sent a private jet that's going to take you from here back to Nigeria. Really? Is that how you do it here? You are going to hand me over to people who lied to you just for you to, you know what I mean? They said, well, we are sorry. They told Nnamdi Kanu we were sorry. And they handed him over to Nigeria. Sedated him. That means they drugged him and they took him to Nigeria. Now, you may not be too surprised. Tinubu is about to do the same. And guess who is about to do that too? David Udenyi. For those who should know, since the NSAS days, David Udenyi happened to be one of those that the government of Nigeria have been looking for or finding ways to hold, but they've never made it too public. You know why? I'll show you something so that you understand where I'm actually going. Like I said, take this as the break-in this conversation tonight, okay? Give me a second. Now, Nigeria, David Udenyi is a current, is like a refugee who has been granted the West African kind of asylum. And this was granted to him by the government of Ghana. Now, Kolu, listen to this. So before, why was Nigeria looking for David Udenyi? And why? Like, why? I'll tell you if you want. Part of what David shared to remind all of us, in case we probably have forgotten, all right, that from his own, investigative journalism, over the years, in the course of the last 3-4 years, is managed to give us the following. listen, I'm going to read this. So it said, Davido, I unmasked a federal cabinet minister who was an Al-Qaeda sympathizer on a U.S. anti-terror watch list. It's a pandemic. What happened? Nothing happened to pandemic. I unmasked the people behind Boko Haram and detailed their funding, infrastructure, and pipelines in granular detail. The conflicts for jihad. David Undeyi, what happened? They set after him. I revealed the existence of a cross-border human trafficking network in West Africa, which has operatives embedded in Nigeria's embassies and high commissions in countries like Cote d'Ivoire. He even put out the name and picture of Bello, the point man behind the trafficking, imprisonment, and murder of young Nigerian women in Abidjan. Nothing happened. They said after the police tried to botch the Ini Umoren, you remember Ini Umoren? Ini murder case. He was the one who jumped in and exposed the existence of a ritual murder syndicate operating in Akwa Ibom. An investigation that led to a death sentence for the murder suspects and sent the current Senate president into a panic. Akpabio, who actually threatened to sue him, also David Undeyi. He even unmasked the overall head of the table portrayed in King of Boys before he ran for president and forced his way into office, talking about Tinubu. So at what point did Nigerians do anything with all this information? He published information that the table considers to be worth a whole lot of blood and money. And he put it out there for free. Not even Roberto Saviano went this far. According to him and his book, nearly brought down a government. Right? Now, David, as you are watching this video today, David has received the signal message from the government of Tinubu that Ghana should arrest him and send him back to them because he has caused so much damages to the reputation and legitimacy of Tinubu, Pablo Escobar, Midway. And David just dropped this clip. I haven't listened to it. I took a stop on X, Twitter, just my usual, and this popped up. Watch.
Atiku Ado, the Ghanaian Minister of the Interior, Honorable Ambrose Derry, and to the chair of the Ghana Refugee Board, Prof. Kenneth Atafua. I fled Nigeria in 2020, and I applied for asylum in Ghana in early 2021. In May 2022, I was granted refugee status in Ghana. Consequently, I was also issued a Ghanaian refugee travel document, a refugee passport, which I have subsequently used extensively to travel across Africa and around the world. Now, last month, when there was the ongoing back and forth between those who wanted to go to war within the ECOWAS bloc, those who wanted to go to war with the coup regime in Niger, and those who didn't, something happened. The Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made a move to deploy Nigerian special forces illegally into Nigerian territory to enforce a no-fly zone, which is a euphemism for essentially staging a military attack, an unprovoked military attack against an independent sovereign nation and a friendly country to Nigeria. As was expected, most people in the Nigerian government, in the Nigerian military, and in the citizenry at large weren't at all on board with this. But Mr. Tinubu was clearly desperate to start this war with Niger, a war that nobody wanted. Subsequently, a secret document was leaked to me, a document which contained basically attack instructions and basically staging plans for this illegal invasion of Niger. And I knew that by putting this document out, I could potentially stop a catastrophic invasion, which would lead to an immense and unnecessary loss of West African life. So that's exactly what I did. Early August, I put out this document. And it had the desired effect. It did, in fact, stop the invasion. Subsequently, Mr. Tinubu then tried to seek permission from Nigeria's Senate to deploy the Nigerian military into Niger. The Senate knocked this back. And to all intents and purposes, the invasion essentially became a stillbirth, right? It didn't happen. Which, from the point of view of, I think, any right-thinking person in the ECOWAS sub-region, was definitely a good outcome, right? What definitely under no circumstances should have happened should have been a military invasion of Niger by Nigeria, leading to an outcome that no one would have been better off. Well, I could spend an hour explaining the many different ways that this would have been a terrible idea, but I'm sure most people know this just as well as I do. It would have been something that would have been catastrophic and would have benefited nobody except probably Mr. Tinubu himself. Now, after I leaked this document, I was made aware from several sources that the Nigerian military establishment and the Nigerian intelligence establishment became essentially particularly enraged with me. So I've been a person of interest for a long time, but with that I became designated as something of an enemy of state. And as my, as fortune or luck, bad luck would have it, just a month before this happened, the fact that I do travel with a Ghanaian passport, that I have a Ghanaian passport and I travel with it, had become exposed to the public through no fault of my own, following a very unfortunate event in Zimbabwe, after which the permanent secretary at the Zimbabwean Ministry of Information, probably thinking that he was scoring a point against some sort of foreign journalists, following their issues with foreign journalists, decided to tweet to a global audience the fact that I did claim asylum in Ghana and that I travel with a Ghanaian travel document. As a result of this, the Nigerian establishment knew who to speak to if they wanted to get a hold of me. They were aware that I had claimed asylum in Ghana and that I used a Ghanaian travel document. So I was informed that a Nigerian intelligence agency, I'm not sure whether it was the National Intelligence Agency or the Defense Intelligence Agency, but one of these foreign intelligence institutions dispatched a jet to Accra to basically have me illegally rendered to Nigeria. Apparently they wrote a letter to the Ghanaian government accusing me of apparently aiding terrorism by supposedly revealing the locations of soldiers, and apparently I was also guilty of treason, whatever that means. Now, it seemed as if the matter was going to end there. But more recently, I've come to find out that the Tinubu government is still trying very hard to enact some sort of illegal rendition. So the latest tactic apparently is to lean on the Ghanaian government and accuse me of having apparently sabotaged an ECOWAS mission, and in so doing, basically compromised the bloc security of the ECOWAS region, in which case Ghana, being itself an ECOWAS member, is then obligated to cancel my asylum, to revoke my refugee status, and to revoke my Ghanaian passport. The Nigerian government's hope is that in revoking my passport, whatever travel privileges or visa or residency privileges I enjoy anywhere in the world will be compromised, and as a result, it will then be more possible for them, using the various avenues that are available to obviously a nation state, to have somebody extradited or to have somebody illegally rendered. In this case, a journalist who fled the country because of his work and claimed political asylum in another country and gained full refugee status. But the Nigerian government obviously has no problem trying to flout international law in this way. Now, the reason I'm making this appeal publicly to the Ghanaian government and to the individuals I mentioned at the outset is because I'm aware that even though the Ghanaian government, as I mentioned, has a very relatively great track record when it comes to obeying international law and not behaving obnoxiously in the international space, which was why I chose to claim asylum in Ghana in the first place. I'm also aware that there's a limit to which Ghana might be able to resist the cajoling or the bullying of Nigeria, which obviously exerts a lot of influence over the Ghanaian government. So I thought it would be prudent to put this out there. I know that the Nigerian government is trying to do all of this in secret, which is why I was only able to obtain this information, through a fashion, right? This isn't information that is out there, but I'm putting it out there on purpose, hoping that it makes some kind of a difference, because at the end of the day, I do believe that just the same way as Ghana had every opportunity to give me up.
So every time they say they will soon catch you too, they will soon catch you too, is being a pain or a pain in their ass. But Nigeria is famous for, like I said, for flouting international laws. They want to kidnap him. But before they do, they wanted to make sure that they rendered every legal status he's currently enjoying, they rendered that null and void. Why? Because he told us about Pablo Escobar. He helped stop what could have been the war of refugees right now when they were asking Kolu to invade Niger Republic. And I said the memo, that memo that got released about the planned attack, when Kolu is here to even inform Nigerians he was going to go to Niger, he was already moving soldiers to Sokoto. That information saved the lives of Nigerian soldiers and saved the lives of Nigerians who share border with Niger Republic, and saved a lot of lives of